This poem is called The Graduate. It's based off of an older lady that I used to know and the movie The Graduate. So, bisexual older woman. I was a senior. She was my senior. From the moment I seen her, I saw scenarios where the only let down I would give her would be when I loosened up her hair tie. My eyes tried to persist and peer to a promised land, but I am no longer a novice. I'm a polished man, so I extend a modest hand and ordered pardon, ma'am. She smiled. It's been a while since a child had the audacity to assume I enjoy being called ma'am. I felt reprimanded. She told me she prefers Janice. I spoke with a tremble in my hand because she's more advanced in the dance and she knows that I'm standing on my tiptoes just to meet at her eye level. She asked if I needed a ride home but never mentioned an address. And I never really saw reasons to give her directions because I knew where this was going. We continued our conversation over crushed grapes and a plate of finger food that I wasn't in the mood for. She made a joke about my appetite. Then came time for the tour that I could only assume were then in the room. She asked if I had ever had a proper lesson. Mrs. Robinson, are you trying to seduce me? Even from across the room, I could tell she saw my lips shake. I let her take control and guide me because kids in a candy store never know how to reach the top shelf without help. I was told to let the nerves at the turn of my fingertips learn about the curves and the swerves of her inner hips and use my lips as my vision. I finally got the picture when I found that her fruit was possessed with the powers of Poseidon, and I was consumed by her oceans, in tune with her motions, meaning when she moved I got infused with emotions. And then it was time. She said, enter me, with the pride and stride of a lion wishing to roam inside a jungle that he knows that he owns. She said tenderly, show me the power you possess by being able to undress me without breaking a sweat or a single button. She said, remember me. Don't get lost in my presence. Remember that a woman's true essence is in her presence. I surrendered and I promised. And then I rendered her unconscious. This poem is like the one really bad heartbreak poem I ever wrote in my life. It's called The Need. Your love is like a drug, one hug and I'm stuck like syringes. My stomach cringes when you pull away to leave, in need of another dose, comatose, full of sex sessions in succession that are sick lessons, but you make my sick lesson. Question. How come this passive aggression does nothing to lessen the seconds it takes me to pick up the phone when I hear you're alone and I itch and I jones? It's a need, a necessity. The complexity of the impulse to get you next to me. It obsesses me. Can you obsess with me? Become obsessed with me? Take this intensity. See, I just need to know if you need me. You could lie to my face if need be. Feed me lies that taste in a disguise like grapes. Anything to keep safe the mind state I'd have to face if you leave me. Because in this wild goose chase, I'm just hoping that you don't duck when I tell you that you're it. This isn't luck. I planned the whole thing out. Why are you running? And my neighbors keep asking me when the construction to my house is going to be done. I'm not doing work. I'm just slamming my head around trying to drown out thoughts of you. And it won't be finished for another couple of months. And the fact that these blunt slickers and pills are nothing compared to the thrill of the harm that your kisses on my arm that leave track marks and scars has me alarmed that if I can't find something else to fix me, then quickly you will simply become the only substance in which I find substance. Something has got to give. I have nothing left to give. I am nothing next to him. Simply a glimpse of what could have been. And then he speaks. Though he is quiet and his engaged, the rage portrayed in his gaze is enough to unclog my veins for days. And though he is trapped within a frame, we both share the same name, and he's ashamed to see what I've let him become. Because when you came along, we were moved into the carpool lane and he was tossed to the back to make room for your needs. But this junkie has found the trunk key, and it took my reflection for me to notice that this passion was not mirrored. Promises of becoming one with someone else tore me away from loving myself, but you saw it as more of an absorption rather than an equal merger. Further, you chose to flex your power of love rather than bask in its essence, so the question of the petal is now answered. She loves me not. It seems that I've gotten over the need to fall at your feet when you beckoned. The Goddess. Alright, we can do The Goddess. This was the first poem I did on stage for a professional event that we hosted. We sold it out entirely at New Eureka Poets Cafe. Probably my favorite poem. I got drunk one night and needed to write the day before the event. I got blackout drunk. I watched a documentary. I wrote this and I dropped my phone and I broke it. Woke up in the morning and this is what I had. Memorized it that day and performed it that night. My God, my Goddess, I am walking bare-knuckled and breathing deeply, staring at a being seeking to elevate me to the next level of creation. My God, I have been parading around a garden of your eternity, searching for something to sustain me until the moment in which I stumbled upon your roots. My goddess, her fruit is hanging, exposing the truth that my sweet tooth has been dying for something natural to bite onto for days. My God, allow me to consume knowledge out of the palm of your essence, taking good measure, making sure never to lay teeth on the hand that is feeding me. My goddess, I now believe with the blind passion of one man, willing to stand amidst the fleet of warships for his warship because my God, my goddess, I will cross fields for you. I will never yield for you. I will fight off 1,000 swords and shields until the true meaning of you is revealed and the world kneels to you. Just give me that place of your temple. Allow me to study your walls while chasing each one of my fingertips across the crevices of your history. Give me the peace of mind of knowing that I can be your sacrifice. Because no throne made of metal can meddle the way that my bone and flesh would shift and mesh to protect you, my God, I believe. And I will die for this belief. And I will cry with this belief, as it seems that the deeper that I dive into this devotion, the more my actions become chained to slavery rather than salvation. Do I love you because I'm meant to, or because I met you? My God, my goddess. That's number 3. We're doing number 4. Everything comes full circle. You just have to remember the journey that brought you there. Because sometimes a mistake can turn into misfate because you thought the plans you drew out were misshaped. So you give up on your semicircle, not knowing that it is something better, a letter that can be used at your disposal. So don't dispose of it. Because sometimes you see that seed combine and construct and come up in the form of a word. And you can be assured that it will have the nerve to want to be heard, and it will converge with a herd of its peers until a full-fledged sentence appears. There will be cheers of amazement as it hits the pavement to find a following, because this sentence has a message to preach. It's becoming a speech. Spoken to motivate the masses, awoken as a passion to take action, past the point of no return, we now burn with a mission, we were given our glimmer of hope. The smoke clears and a grain of sand is turned into a man among slaves, who refuses to behave in the ways taught to him by his masters, so he masters the reins and parades his freedoms in a newfound direction of glory. And the morals of this story can all transpire in one day. Inspired by one sound, inspired by one speech, inspired by one crowd, inspired by one sentence, inspired by one word, inspired by one letter, inspired by one curve. But you have to be the one willing to pick up that pen and make that mistake, and my mistake will be that I will march. As I come clean as blank canvas, hoping to be marked up by anything that will keep me from being just another plain piece of paper, and whether those stains come from brushstrokes or bullet holes, all I know is that they will bring me change. You see, we have been chained to the idea for so long that the sky is the limit that we have forgotten the true roots of our purpose. We are people. We are equal parts of love and peace, and riot in the streets when the yell for rebellion is heard, so the revolution will not be televised because we are tired of being boxed in. Do not tell me that my skin is the only uniform that I can adorn when I can only be black in the summertime and white when there isn't enough light to shine the darkness that is within me. Those are not my true colors. I am the red flowing through each and every one of us. I am the culmination of slave ships and spending your entire life savings to find salvation across a border. I am the final order that was given to burn down any hope of a boat returning home. We will either conquer these people or die as Moors. I am doors kicked open in Oakland because you will not be gunning my people down in the middle of the streets and not hear the full volumes of their screams. And I am the wounded knee that can make a sitting bull stand and dance for the ghosts of his tribe. And I am the last breath of a dying wish asking you to finally fight for your lives. So all I ask is that you march with me. So will you stand or will you hide? That's it. The owner of the bar tweeted, he was like, we have the Wu-Tang Clan of poetry here, and then he added us on Twitter, which was cool.